Hey everyone, I just wanted to come on this afternoon and kind of share how I'm feeling and talk about knowing your limits. Um, and what do I mean by that? I guess I mean like when we've had enough, right? When we've kind of overextended ourselves. So today I just got home from my 3.5 day work week, which was a really busy week. I put in, over 40 hours in 3.5 days, and I am exhausted. I'm exhausted mentally and physically, and I feel like I don't have a single ounce left in me to give. And I think this isn't unusual. Everybody feels this way at times, and I think what's important is that we acknowledge and trust how we feel. Right? We have to acknowledge that we've given all that we have to give, and that we have to acknowledge that know what our limit is, acknowledge it, and then really focus on self-care to kind of reinvest in ourselves so that we have energy to give. I am, for a long time I was really not good at that. I really ignored how I was feeling, and I would just push myself through. And now, because I've experienced burnout, I'm super hypersensitive to overdoing it, because I know what burnout looks like and how scary that is, and how I could very much end up in a bedridden state, because I'm not acknowledging my needs. And it's important for a few reasons, because as much as we say yes to everybody else in our lives, when we do that, when we make the choice to say yes to other people, we generally are saying no to ourselves. And at the end of the day, what ends up happening is we have less to give and to share, whether that's in our workplace, whether that's in our relationships, whether that's with our families. And so, certainly I said yes a lot this week with my work. And I acknowledge that. And I acknowledge it for a few things, because I know that my work week is going to be different next week. I know that it was an extra busy week for a variety of reasons, things that I can accept. So that I was away on holidays last week, so I had catch up to do, and that I was the only provider in the clinic, and so that creates a little extra workload. So I don't have to really focus on my boundary there. It wasn't a boundary issue. It was just a week that I really just had to push through, and next week should be better. But I have to acknowledge right now that I feel like I don't have much to give. And so I really need to increase and amp up my self-care. And so I really have to kind of simplify the things at home. So, tonight's dinner is going to be really simple. I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to have a hot bath. All these things that I need to do so that I don't end up being grumpy and irritable because I'm pushing myself beyond what my limit is. Because then who suffers is my daughter and my husband, who are the most important people to me. So I went and, said yes to my workplace and to the patients that I care for, and I love that. But I can't do that at the expense of myself or of my family, because they're the most important people to me. And so self-care is really not selfish. It's necessary. It's necessary for us to acknowledge our limits, to institute self-care practices so that we can give our best to the people that matter most to us, and to our workplaces. I love what I do, but I have to be very careful, because I can be a workaholic and I can do too much. And so I really have to be sensitive in those situations. So I ask you to kind of reflect on, do you know what your limit is? Do you respect that limit, or do you just push through and burn out and become irritable and miserable? Or do you acknowledge it, show compassion to yourself, and up your self-care and start saying no to the things, so that you can have more space, so that you can re-energize? Not an easy thing to do, and I'm still learning, and I'm still adjusting, and I'm still getting better, trying to get better at it, but it's not easy. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, is just respecting ourselves and knowing our limits, and really instituting self-care so that we have more to give to the people that are around us, because when we take care of ourselves, we just have so much more energy. We're much more present. We're much more thankful and grateful. Our moods are better. Our energy is higher. There's just so much benefit. Anyways, have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.